Last week, a healthcare startup lost everything. 5 years of work, 3 million in investment, gone overnight. Why? They missed one critical regulation that I'm about to show you. Today, I'm exposing the 7 standards that determine if your medical software lives or dies in the market. If you're developing software for healthcare, this might be the most important video you'll ever watch. I'm Lisa Voronkova, founder of OVA Solutions, and after 10 years in the medtech industry, I've seen brilliant software fail simply because they didn't understand what I'm about to show you. And while I usually focus on hardware development, today I'm pulling back the curtain on software regulations because what I'm seeing in the market is scary. Look, the healthcare software space is like a minefield. One wrong step and everything you've built explodes. No exaggeration. I watch companies invest millions in development, only to fail because they missed one of these 7 critical standards. But here's the good news. Once you understand these regulations, you can navigate them easily. Because in fact, they are simple. Okay, let me show you exactly how. Let's start with the biggest one, HIPAA. Some people pronounce HIPAA, some people pronounce HIPAA. Anyways, that's how it's written. So I've seen companies get destroyed by HIPAA violations, and it's completely avoidable. Let me tell you a quick story. Last year, a telemedicine startup launched their revolutionary, no joke, platform. Their software was very good, was brilliant. Their interface was really beautiful, but they missed one really critical HIPAA requirement. And okay, now why do you care? Let me show you. Here's the cost of HIPAA violation. So HIPAA violation penalties range across 4 tiers based on, the level and also intent. So first goes unknowing violations. It's from $100 to 50 grants each and max 25 grants per year. Then goes reasonable cause from $1,000 to $50,000 and max $100,000 per year. Willful neglect corrected within 1 month is from $10,000 to $50,000 each, max $250,000 per year. And the last one, willful neglect uncorrected, $50,000 each, max $1.5 million per year. Here's exactly what HIPAA requires from your software. First, privacy. This isn't just about having a privacy policy on your website. You need specific technical safeguards. Unique user identification for every person accessing the system. Emergency access procedures. Automatic log-off after a set period. Encryption and decryption of all patients' data. Second, security. And I'm not just talking about basic password protection. What you need is access controls that limit who can see what data, audit controls that track every single person who accessed patient information, and integrity controls to prevent unauthorized changes to patient records, transmission security to protect data when it's being sent anywhere. And third, patient rights protection. This is where most companies fail. Your software must allow patients to see their health information on demand, get copies of their records, know who accessed their information, request correction to their data. Let me show you exactly how this works in practice. Typically, I see projects implementing what I call the triple lock system. Authentication. Every user must prove who they are. Authorization. Every user can only access what they need. Audit. Every action is tracked and traceable. And here is an important part most people miss. Documentation. You need to prove you're doing all of this. It's not enough to just have the features. You need to show how they work. You need to test them regularly. And you need to keep records of literally everything. Now let's talk about high-tech, what I call HIPAA's bigger brother. Bigger and meaner brother, I would say. So if HIPAA tells you what to do, high-tech makes sure you actually do it. And it hits where it hurts. Your wallet. So high-tech make HIPAA's rules much stricter by following actions. They are raising fines for serious violations, requiring public notice if over 500 patient records are breached, Also important, they are making vendors directly responsible for violations, increasing audits and enforcement, giving patients more rights to access their records. Okay, in simple words, here's what makes HITAG different. First, it increased the penalties for violations. This we understood. We're not talking about small fines anymore. Under HITAG, a single violation can cost you up to 1.5 million per year. And the scary part is, even if you didn't know you were violating the rules, you can still be fined. HITAG also changed the game in 3 major ways. But let me give you a real example. So we had a client who thought their cloud storage provider was handling security. Then guess what? When the provider had a breach, our client was still legally responsible. Here's exactly what you need to do. Document every security measure, train your team regularly, test your breach notification system, audit your business associates, keep records of everything. And now I'm gonna share the $1 billion secret with you. HITAG actually created opportunities. If you get this right, you can qualify for government incentives. We've helped clients turn compliance into profit by accessing these programs. Now, let's talk about ISO 13485. And this is where even experienced software companies messed up. They think, oh, it's just for hardware. Well, that's not true. It's wrong. And again, this mistake can cost a lot. Here's why this standard matters for software. It's not just a certificate you hang on your wall, right? It's a complete system that proves your software is safe and effective. Let me break this down into exactly what you need. First, quality management system. You need documented procedures for everything you do, risk management processes, design and development controls, verification and validation protocols. Here's a real story. Last month, a client came to us after failing their ISO audit. They had brilliant developers, they had great code, but they couldn't prove their testing process was consistent. Well, it's hard to estimate the cost in this case, but it cost them 6 months of delays and they also almost lost their biggest customer. So let me show you exactly what we implemented for them. Design controls, user requirements documentation, design input verification, design output validation, change control procedures, then risk management, hazard identification, risk assessment, risk mitigation, ongoing monitoring, development process, documented coding standards, review procedures, testing protocols, version control. Here's the secret most people miss. ISO 13485 isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent and proving it. Every time you make a change, every time you test something, every time you fix a bug, you need to document it. Now, SOC 2. This is your ticket to working with big healthcare organizations. And without it, hospitals won't even look at your software. But here's what nobody tells you about SOC 2. SOC 2 is built on 5 trust principles, and you need to nail every single one. Let me break them down. Security, network protection, firewalls, intrusion detection, two-factor authentication. Not just having these features, but proving they work. Availability, performance monitoring, disaster recovery, incident response. You need to prove your system stays up and running. Processing integrity, data accuracy, timely processing, error handling. Every piece of data must be processed exactly as promised. Confidentiality, encryption, access protocols, data destruction. This all to prove you protect sensitive information. Privacy, collection, retention, disposal, disclosure, handling personal information exactly as promised. Let me tell you a quick story. We had a client who thought they were ready for SOC 2. They had great security, but they couldn't prove their employees were following procedures. So they failed their audit. And here's what exactly can be done to fix it. Create detailed procedure manuals, implemented automated monitoring, set up regular training programs, established audit trials. And here's the golden nugget. You don't need to implement all 5 trust principles. You choose which ones matter for your software. But whatever you choose, you better nail it. Oh, this is the big one. FDA requirements for software as a medical device, or SAMD. Get this wrong and your software will never see the light of the day. But first, let's figure out if you even need FDA approval. You'll have to ask these 3 questions. Does your software diagnose diseases? Does it suggest treatments? And does it make clinical decisions? If you answered yes to any of this, well, congratulations, you're developing a medical device. Here's exactly what that means for you. First, you figure out the classification. So class 1 is the lowest risk, like medical record software. Class 2 is a medium risk, like diagnostic support tools. And class 3 is the highest risk, like treatment planning software. Here's the process we often see. First, you do pre-submission meeting. Document your intended use, prepare technical specifications, plan your validation strategy. Meet with the FDA before you go too far. Development process, design controls, risk management, software validation, clinical validation if needed, submission preparation, technical documentation, clinical data, predicative device comparison, regulatory pathway determination. Let me give you a real example. We had a client developing AI software for radiology. So they thought they could skip FDA approval because they were just assistant doctors. Wrong. It cost them 8 months of additional development. And it was actually pretty fast. So I hope you won't make the same mistake. Now let's talk about HL7 and FHIR, the languages of healthcare. So if your software can't speak these languages, you're dead in the water. I don't care how amazing your software is. If it cannot communicate with hospital systems, nobody will buy it. And of course, I have a story for you. One startup, they built an amazing patient monitoring system, but they ignored HL7 integration. When hospitals asked, can this connect to our EHR? The answer was no. Well, game over for now. Here's exactly what you need to know about HL7. It's the standard way healthcare systems talk to each other. Every major hospital uses it, and without it you're isolated. But now here's where it gets interesting. So HL7 is old school. FHIR is like the iPhone of healthcare data. It makes everything easier. Here's why it matters. FHIR advantages. Works with modern web technologies, easier to implement, better for mobile apps, in general more flexible for developers. What you need to support: patient data exchange, clinical observations, diagnostic reports, care plans. And here's the $1 million tip from Lisa. Built for both HL7 and FHIR. All systems use HL7, new ones used FHIR. So you support both and you can sell to everyone. If your software touches medical images in any way, DICOM is your Bible. Miss this and you're not even getting in the game. So let me show you why. First, DICOM isn't just a file format, it's like entire ecosystem for medical imaging. Here's what it covers: image format, patient information, study details, technical parameters, image data, network protocol, how images are shared, how systems communicate, security requirements, workflow management, image acquisition, storage, retrieval, display. Once again, if you're using standard image formats like PNG, very likely that not a single hospital would even look at your demo. Why? Because there is no way to fit it into existing pathway. Here's exactly what your software needs for compliance. Basic features: DICOM file reading and writing, network communication, storage management. Advanced features: modality work list, query retrieve, storage commitment, print management. And here's the secret sauce. Probably if you watch this so far, it's obvious at this point. You need to document exactly how your software implements this standard. Okay, now let me give you the exact roadmap we use. And please follow and subscribe because I share this for free. This is the same process that helped other companies get their software to market. Assessment, map applicable regulations, identify requirements, gap analysis, resource planning, implementation, documentation system setup, process development, team training, testing protocols, validation, internal audits, external reviews, documentation is completed, compliance verification. Here's your 30, 60, 90-day plan. So first month, you have to determine your classification, map your requirements and start documentation. Then days 31 to 60, you implement basic systems, train your team, and begin compliance processes. Days 61 to 90, complete documentation, conduct internal audits, and prepare for external review. Look, I've just given you the exact framework, but here's the thing. This is just the beginning, obviously. So I created something special for you. It's called The Complete Guide to Designing Medical Devices. And it's not just theory, it's packed with templates, checklists, some real examples from successful projects. You can go to my website and download it right now at ovasolutions.com. And if this video helped you understand medical software regulations better, the best way you can thank me is by leaving a comment below. Share which regulations surprise you the most or what challenges you're facing, because your comments help me understand what you need and create more content that solves your real problems. Please remember, in healthcare software, brilliant code usually isn't enough. You need to understand these regulations from day one, but get them right and you've got a massive advantage over your competition. Once again, I'm Lisa Voronkova and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.